I just want to try and speak for something, something about cultural reflection or systemic abuse, even. Just this, what happens in society or a community or a group of people, and there's you're born into this world, and there's been lots of presets made, decisions made by groups of people of how they've decided to act into the world, and then someone new comes along and gets born into this particular culture or context, and that tells them, the new person, how they must be. They get taught how to be. So parts of them take on board this information, and other parts of them get pushed aside. And I'm just thinking about some of the things in culture, how forceful groups of people can be to make people comply with them, to fit in, and people kind of pussyfoot around. They go really quiet for a while when they go into a new group, and they don't really speak. They're shy because they're wondering how the backlash is going to go, and so it can be quite a thing. And so if someone's got quite a history, most people have, but you can bury it. It gets buried, and this is the nature of exiles in IFS. So for example, if you've got a bunch of exiles and they've been hurt and abused and told off, shamed, maybe even beaten, or just wherever, gosh, I grew up in the 70s and 80s where there was corporal punishment. You couldn't even frown or look the wrong direction, or take your eyes off your book without getting smacked around the head or dragged to the front of the class and shamed in front of everyone. So it's quite a thing. So you learn to put all this away, and you might have done some solution focused brief therapy on the way. So you've looked to the future, and you've brought in different qualities, and you've constructed your life how it would be preferred to be. So you've moved away from all that stuff, and then you get you meet a group of people and a different group of people, and you're getting on fine, and then something in society, because maybe you'd be doing some more therapy, something in society calls on those parts that have been pushed away. You need to be more wholesome. So you've been doing therapy, and so you start to work on these injured parts of you, and you build up this presence, this energy, this confidence, and now you can bring all that stuff back, and you can be with it, and you're okay. And then those same people that thought you were calm and a nice person, you got on with them, that society was fine with you, can now see or get the vibe of these exiles, because you had the courage to bring them, reintegrate them into your life. and they don't like what they see. Now society is having reflected back to it what it does, and it doesn't want to take responsibility for it. So what they do is they blame you for having this stuff, and of what society did to you. They make you responsible for all of what all that society that society that's bigger than you did to you. And they pathologize you, and apparently you're the only one responsible to fix that, according to what they want. So they'll shunt you out of the way because they don't want to deal with it. Because they might have had a similar history, and it's still exiled, so they don't want to deal with it. They might be dealing with their own. They don't want to deal with it, So we're all dealing with that cultural stuff, and no one wants to deal with it. No one wants to deal with it. But what if you really wanted to have those conversations, and they're rejecting you because they don't want to face with what's going on inside themselves. They don't want to face what's going on inside you. They just want to control this environment the way they think it would be ideally done, And you try to have these conversations, and you try to be courageous and open, and they get nasty with you. That's the biggest problem in relationships is not being able to have the conversations, dialogue, because fear, the cultural reflection that has shamed us, that has hurt us, or the memories of something that happened that we believe is bigger than us. But we're holding it in a space inside us that is holding that and probably 10,000 other things. And that place that's holding it all is unscathed. It's still holding it. You're breathing, you're fine. And you can talk about it. You might not want to talk about it or be scared to talk about it, but it's already being held. But then to dispel the illusions of that through dialogue is a really beautiful thing. If you can muster up the courage to hold those conversations. Yeah, part of me is really saying I'm not quite getting to the nitty gritty of this, and I've got tickly throat as well, so I'm gonna leave it there. I think I might have explained it a bit, and there's always more context. You can never quite reach the wholesomeness of something. That's the thing with systemic thinking. You use doubt, you use irreverence, and to be curious, you never quite understand. You always assume that you're not quite understanding something. I might think that I understand, but do I really understand? I'm curious. I really want to understand what's going on here. And when you get curious towards what's going on for people, they're trying to tell you something, and then they get very defensive when you get curious sometimes, because, oh gosh, I might be exposed. You might understand, really understand. But there's a way of holding that through systemic practice, through the practice of IFS, building up the energy to hold that holding energy, and understanding how those patterns and protective systems fold relationally through IFIO. I might have to explain that a bit more on another video, but like I said, I'm gonna leave it here before I can go into another ramble. Okay. Cheers. Go well.